Hey, great mates. Duncan Voices Any Choices, and this is Paradise Marsh. It is by Lazy Etty, and it's my game of the year, let alone my indie game of the year. It's my actual proper bona fide game of the year. So it's a contemplative game about catching frogs and replacing the stars that have fallen from the sky. And you do this by knocking about this beautiful marsh. You catch bugs, and then you learn their constellations, which later on you redraw the stars in the sky. But what I really love about it, and it's what I love about indie games in general, is it's kind of well open to interpretation. I really love these games that aren't just very cut and dry like most AAA games, and it gives you time to think about it. I completed it a few weeks ago, and I've just sat on it just to see my thoughts, really. And it really reminds me of just being very calm and very peaceful. There's a place down the road near me in Cornwall. It's a National Trust called GOTY House, and whenever I go there, it's so deathly quiet, apart from like the sounds of the bugs and the birds and everything. And I always come out of there feeling like very mindful, like I've had a bit of a meditative experience there, and that's exactly what this feels like. And it's so nice to look at and listen to. So you see like the clouds like bubbling in there. You've got really beautiful sunrises. I know it's got this kind of this lo-fi aesthetic, but look at that sunrise, beautiful. And I really love just sitting and having a listen to the sounds of the bugs. Have a listen. Lovely, that, innit? A few years back, I was recovering from an abusive relationship, and there was a song I listened to by a band called Air, and it was called Say Matin La. And basically, whenever I listened to it, I went into this little kind of mental safe space, and I'd be walking along like a nice little country lane, and there'd be kind of like frogs knocking about and birds and butterflies flitting about. And every time I listened to that song, I would go to that space and just feel a little bit better, a little bit better for a few minutes. And that's effectively kind of what this game feels like to me. Even though there are things to do, and there's like fun little bits like you can build snowmen and pick daisies, and it's very rare that I'll have a game where I just like to be in it and just walking around and just feeling what it's like. And that's why it's my game of the year. So it's about an hour long, an hour or two, but it feels like a lovely little slice of what games should be. I guess I'm quite bored with the tedium of AAA games. At the minute, it's having a good old whinge about 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, and I'm just absolutely loving this lo-fi game about knocking about a marsh and talking to birds and catching bugs. And ultimately, that's what indie games are there for me, for these really different, interpretive, quite deep and meaningful experiences. So there you go, game of the year, lads. Check it out. So it's by Lazy Etty, probably about a tenner, but please check it out, because it's a truly wonderful game. And it's one of those indie games that you can tell just so much heart has been put into it. Especially if you stick around for the secret ending, track it down how to do that, because that's a really lovely little touch. So yeah, please do give me a like and a subscribe. I joked about it before, but it turns out I do like that kind of thing. So I'd appreciate if you did. Tell your mates and your mum. Alright, cheers, bye.